Hey everyone, welcome to my review of The Dark Knight Rises. Just before I start this is my first YouTube video, so please like, subscribe and everything, and that'll really help me out and everything, so thanks, and hope you enjoy the review. So in terms of this Batman movie, there was a lot of expectation and pressure on Christopher Nolan to deliver another epic superhero movie, and The Dark Knight Rises is nothing short of spectacular. In terms of the story, it takes place 8 years after the events of what happened at the end of The Dark Knight, where Harvey Dent goes on the revenge and the rampage after what happens to Rachel Dawes, kills many people, and then Batman has to take the fall for his crimes to sort of save Gotham from itself in a way. And he goes into sort of this stage in his life where he doesn't have any purpose, and no one's really seen him for these 8 years, and this is all about him returning to being Batman and rising up just as this villainous Bane comes along and tries to destroy Gotham. The film at the start has quite a slow pace to it, which is something we've seen sort of like a trend in the Batman movies that we see from Christopher Nolan. But where the film really starts to get good is in the middle, as it starts to build up and the chaos and pain and the mayhem really kicks in. And this is where the film, I think, really shines, and Christopher Nolan shows us just how good he is of a director and how good he is at making superhero movies. In terms of performances, Christian Bale gives a great performance as Bruce Wayne and as Batman. I'd say out of the 3 movies, this is probably his best one. I think the reason why I think that is because this is the one where I think you really begin to sort of feel his pain, and you really sort of get to know him, not only as Batman, but as sort of like a man who's lost his parents and has all this aura surrounding him and has so much expectation, and this is the one we really sort of feel his pain and really start to empathise with him. I thought he was really good throughout the whole movie. I think he's had 3 great movies where he's played Bruce Wayne, and I'll probably go down as one of, if not just the best Batman. But this is the one where I really liked. Anne Hathaway was great as Catwoman as well. I think a lot of people, as well as me, were quite skeptical at first, because you just think Anne Hathaway is in so many films nowadays, and she's never really seemed to do a kind of like a character or a film really like this before. I think she proved a lot of people wrong with this performance here as Catwoman, because she really made the character her own, but she also kept this sort of layer of humorous and stay very loyal to the Catwoman character. So I thought she was great throughout the whole film, and her chemistry with Batman and Catwoman when they're on screen together is great. They, in such a dark and depressing film, they add sort of like a humorous comic relief tone to the whole proceedings, and I thought they were great together, when they're on screen. So I thought Catwoman, Anne Hathaway, really showed that she can be more than sort of this sort of like an average romantic comedy kind of actress in a way. Showed that she can really do serious and gripping films and add an extra layer to that all. Bane was great. I think the thing I really liked about Tom Hardy's performance that he did with Bane is that all he really had to work with was his eyes, because that's all you ever see of Bane is his eyes. So creating such a menacing and evil villain with just his eyes is pretty remarkable. I'm sure a lot of people are going to start comparing Bane to the Joker, but I think that's something pretty much impossible to do, because Bane's a completely different kind of character. Personally, I like both. Bane is one that really can not only mentally but physically challenge Batman, which is something we hadn't really seen too much in the Nolan movies. So I think Bane really brought a presence to this film, which I really liked. So Tom Hardy pulled off it exceptionally well, I thought. Joseph Everett's character, John Blake, I thought was quite quiet for a lot of the movie, but he really was this sort of like patriotic and sort of like in a city like Gotham, maybe out of place cop. But you can see sort of like a Batman within him, which I liked in a way. Those who have seen the film probably know what I'm talking about. But I thought Joseph Levitt's character was really good. I think, he sort of sticks out to me a lot after I saw the movie than sort of in it itself. With so much going on, someone like him can almost get overshadowed. But I thought, he had quite a lot of screen time, to sort of like develop his character well enough, and I thought he was good. He was really good. He's definitely a actor, which will definitely get a lot more movies to prove himself, show how good he is. And this is one where I think a lot of people are going to start thinking Joseph Levitt's a really rising actor. Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman give very loyal performances as their respective characters Lucius and Alfred, although Morgan Freeman definitely gets a lot more screen time than Michael Caine did, which is a shame really, because I really like Alfred in these movies, and Lucius as well I really like as well. But I think Alfred, as the father figure to Bruce, doesn't get a lot to use in this movie than he did the other two. But it's understandable with such a chaotic and dangerous time going on in this film. It's something that probably will happen, especially loads of new characters as well. So it's not something I really got annoyed with or anything. But personally, I would like to see maybe more Alfred, but that's just me. I guess my only really gripes with the movie would probably have to be Bane's voice. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to understand, and sort of the effect that they put on his voice was a little bit bizarre, maybe. But apart from that, for Bane, he was pretty much perfect as a villain. But some of his lines I found quite hard to understand. But I guess the only really big problem I had with the movie was this character Miranda. I mean, for the most part, she always seemed like a throwaway character, which is really rare in a Nolan movie, as if she was kind of pointless and unneeded. Sort of like, in a way, if they would have cut her out of the movie, it wouldn't have been any different. Which is true for pretty much the whole movie, although kind of her purpose comes in a lot later. So I'd say that's the only really problem with the movie itself, is that she sort of seems as though she's unneeded for a lot of it. But apart from that, I thought it was fine. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people might complain about how long this movie is. I mean, 2 hours and 45 minutes is a long time. But I think the thing about this movie especially is that it does not feel like 2 hours and 45 minutes, which is probably one of the biggest compliments you can give a movie like this, because that is a long time, but it doesn't feel like that long at all. So I think that's a sign of a good movie. With this review being spoiler free, I'm not going to go into details about the ending of the movie, but I think what really gives the thumbs up for me for this movie is that the ending is brilliant. They couldn't have made it more sort of compelling, and one of those endings which you'll talk about to people for a long time after it's come out. A bit like Inception in a way. I'm sure a lot of people maybe didn't like the Inception ending, so if you didn't, you might not like this one. But for me, I thought it was great, and it really capped off such a great series. The music is excellent. Hans Zimmer gives another great score for this movie. It's the music really sort of adds to the film a lot, sort of make it more compelling and exciting. The score really gets you on the edge of your seat, and it really sort of brings you into the film. So I think that's it really added a lot to the movie. The movie I don't think would have been the same without the music. But that's really all I have to talk about with this film. I guess overall it's a brilliant movie. I'd say it's the best film I've seen all year. Probably the best film I've seen for a long time now. I'd say it's far better than the Avengers. I'm sure a lot of people probably disagree with me there, but I thought the Avengers was a good movie. It was a solid blockbuster, but I didn't think it really had the compelling dark nature and sort of it didn't really stick in my mind after I saw it like this movie has. So I definitely prefer The Dark Knight Rises to the Avengers. But then again, I prefer DC to Marvel, so maybe that's how I'm going to be with these kind of movies. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. The Dark Knight Rises is a brilliant movie. Nolan really couldn't have made a more satisfying and exciting closure to a trilogy. than he could have with this one. With third movies, sometimes they sort of get not as good and sort of decline in quality. But with this, although basically this doesn't have the tightest script of the three, The Dark Knight Rises is the most exciting, and I'd say it is the best. So overall, I give the movie a 9.8 out of 10. So thanks for watching.